Hi, I'm Tom Dalton, host of the Emmy Award-winning PBS television program Under the Radar Michigan, where every week we feature the cool people, places, and things that make Michigan a great place to be. Now in May, the National Main Street Conference is going to be right here in the city of Detroit. And there's so much cool stuff happening in Detroit right now, you're not going to believe it. What, you don't believe it? Check this out.
Food isn't the only thing that brings people together. There's also culture, community, and art. Eric Howard is the founding father of Southwest Detroit's Alley Project.
So, did you grow up in this neighborhood?
I did. Well, the house right there behind the main garage for the Alley Project is the house that my mom grew up in. So when I got older and got out of college, I bought it off my grandma. But I grew up about 6 blocks that way.
Now tell me about the Alley Project, because like you said, it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
It is, yeah. And so when you're here, actually, it's funny because being here filming, one of the issues that we always run into is there's airplanes, there's ice cream trucks, right. There's weed whackers,
dogs.
Yeah, there's dogs, there's neighbors. But while that creates some issues for production, it absolutely contributes to what we have going for the Alley Project, and that's that it's authentic. It's a real community. It's in the middle of a neighborhood, and so I think that's one of the things that kind of keeps us under the radar too. There's other art projects in the city, some of them larger scale, that were very inspirational for us, but what we found is here we have a different set of conditions, and because those different conditions, we have different assets and we have different needs, and the Alley Project that you're looking at is a result of those needs and those assets.
Now, how does the project work? Who does the art?
Artists from all over, young people, older people, people with different mediums. People like to use aerosol, people use chalk. There's some chalk over on the sidewalk.
Do any crayon work? Because I do a lot of crayon work.
I specialize in Crayola, but there's a lot of artists that come and they like to do aerosol or brush.
And what do people like donate their garage doors, or is it?
That's how it started. Yeah. So in 2004, we learned that one of the needs that we had in the neighborhood was that there were a lot of young people and they didn't really have a place to paint. Right. One of the assets that we had were there were young people that liked to paint. And so there was a group of us neighbors that we got together and talked to the youth and said, you can use the back of our garage doors. We'd rather see you painting and see art, evolving and happening and changing on a weekly basis than to see things that were, either territorial or offensive.
Right. How do the neighbors like this?
Well, I mean, there's as many opinions about it as there are neighbors, and so.
Well said.
Yeah, and though that's part of what helped make the Alley Project what it is. And so one of the things that we do when we're planning, when we're designing, it's all done participatorily. And if somebody doesn't come to the table, we make sure that their opinion is still at the table. Right. But we've actually been pretty successful at bringing people who have ideas contrary to our goals to the table, and it's helped strengthen the project. That's how we got the planters. We wouldn't have had planters, we wouldn't have had gardens here if that wasn't the case.
Plus, like you said, if you don't give young people an outlet for their artistic talents, then they'll never develop them. Everybody needs something like this if you've got that talent in you. And the fact that you're doing this for people, for young and old people, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they in turn give back and help create an environment that it's a living, breathing outdoor art environment. So, there's spaces, there's walls, but then there's garages. Some of it's static, but a lot of it's dynamic. And the parts that are dynamic is what makes the Alley Project an interesting place to come from week to week.
Now, you mentioned airplanes, dogs, ice cream trucks. I don't think we mentioned the person raking in the background. But,
yeah, but actually, that's an artist that wants us out of this space so that he could use it to paint. So.
Well, far be it from us to get in the way of neighborhood artists at work. Eric Howard and the Alley Project is just another great testimonial to the passion Southwest Detroiters have for their community. And I think it's rubbing off on me, too.